Hey guys, so today what I'll be doing is I'll be doing a audit for this cooking website. So I'm gonna go through everything live, and I hope you enjoy, and I hope you learn. I hope you are able to learn something. So I am going to open up some music. All right, let's get focused. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to do a few audit for this page, for this website. Indexation is number one. So we're just going to check the indexation status for this current site. And then our cooking ideas. Okay, and let's get started. Okay, so there is a total of 70 plus pages, so not a lot, so that is good. So are there any demo pages? Let's see. Nope. Landing pages. Nope. -2. All right, so let's check it out. I'm looking at the URLs here to see if, yeah, so this is a great one. So you can see the website is indexing pages like this. Yeah, so you do not want that. Yeah, so these are the kind of pages that you do not want. So in this case, there is, and then notes. We can insert notes like this in here. Then let's see if there's any weird stuff going on. Yeah, so you can see all these PNGs. So later on, we'll be able to find this during our PNG ones, PNGs. But the recommendation here, it's obviously to no index / remove page. Okay, and then let's take a look at our stuff. Okay, this is clear. Admin pages. This is clear as well. Portfolio. Okay, this is fine. Additional home pages. And let's see. Okay, so there is some weird stuff going on here. What are these kind of pages? Yeah, so look, these kind of pages are being indexed, which is not good. So these are kind of like images that are being indexed by Google. So yeah, it's gonna waste all the crawl budget. And again, this is just a very quick way for you to know the state of the website. Especially if the website is big, then you're gonna find then these type of audits will be a lot relevant, a lot more effective. All right, so I'm just gonna list down. So no additional home pages are being indexed. but it seems like this is a very common theme. The images are being indexed. So later on, I'm just gonna list it down here. I'm just gonna list it under the notes here, just so I don't miss it out. Test pages. Okay, these don't seem like test pages. Yep. Yeah, these are not test pages. Are these? No, I don't. Oh my god. Yeah, this shouldn't appear here. You definitely don't want to include keywords that you're trying to target in your page, because then, you know, your competitors will know exactly what you're trying to do if you are being researched. Yeah, so okay, so these are not test pages, so test pages are fine. Sample, no. PNG, so this is where we're gonna find a lot of stuff, I think. Oh, okay, only one. That's interesting. Yeah, so it seems like your images are being indexed, just in different formats. So this is in PNG form. The other ones are this weird stuff going on here. I'm gonna list them down here. Notes. Set no index tag to in a WordPress CMS. So I assume that they are using WordPress. One of the ways that I like to do it is just to go to one of the extension that I like to use a lot is where is it? Oh yeah, this one. So you don't have to use an extension like this, but if you have an extension like this, it just tells you what CMS it's possibly using. Because a lot of times, not a lot of times, but sometimes you will see that it's a mismatch, because some part of the domains use WordPress, whereas the other part is built by some other platforms. So this is a WordPress site, so it means to say they will be using they should be using a plugin. Another quick way to check is just to see, yeah, so you can see WordPress over here, and then if you see SEO, and you can check what plugin they are using. So they are using all-in-one plugin, right? So this should be set in all-in-one plugin. So set no index tag in for images in WordPress CMS. So this is one of them. Okay, let's take a look at, so this is PNG. Oh no, so this should be here. Yes, and then PDFs. So no PDFs. WP content. So this is very common. So in this case there isn't, but usually if the website is using CMS, is using WordPress, right? It's gonna, this part is very common here, where you see a lot of WP content being indexed. So any non-HTTP, oops. So we're gonna do this. Minus in URL HTTPS. Okay, so this is kind of weird. Minus in URL HTTPS. So this seems okay. So the one thing I'm checking for is the HTTPS status to see if they have any, is this the, yeah, so they have PNG, This is the one PNG that I found earlier, right? I think. Yeah. And then this is the other one that I found. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking for pages that is not HTTPS secure, because that means there will be two different versions. So it seems like this page is this site is fine. Yeah. So this passed. Lorem ipsum. Let's see. Lorem. And how do I spell ipsum? Ipsum. Okay. And another reason why I'm doing this, right, is just to check how much work will I have to perform in order to make this website SEO optimized. Because if you see, like, there is a lot of yes, that means to say there's a lot of things to fix. Okay, so this gives you a rough overall idea of how much work you need to do. Tag. Okay, so all these are not tag pages, so I'm just going to open up a few. Okay. Yeah, these are not tag pages. So what I'm looking for are pages like this. So they have set this to no index, which is a good practice. Yeah, so you can see this is set to no index, because usually with tag pages, unless you're trying to rank for certain stuff, I don't think it should be indexed. What is this? Oh, just a pop-up. Okay. Okay, so no tag pages. So category is somewhat subjective. So they are ranking, they are indexing their category pages, which may or may not be the worst, depending on whether so the category pages are being indexed, which is fine for vegans. Okay, so at least they have different page titles. Okay, this is a weird banner. What is banner? For banner. Okay. Yeah, so a little bit mixed here. So yes, it's being indexed. Can leave it as it is. Or do keyword research and update on page. Yeah, so this one we can either leave it as it is, or so again, this process here, we're trying to find technical issues. So we're not trying to do on page or keyword research within this phase. We're just deciding whether should we push this phase on to the next phase. So we can either leave this as it is, or we can choose to no index it actually. Let's do this. By priority. Yep. Yeah, so this is by priority. The most ideal one is to do keyword research and update this on page. Categories will be the same. Yeah. So you see, this is, let me see, main course, baking. So there's a lot more categories here. Desserts, these are fine. Our essentials. So, this is not a category page. I guess this could, yeah. This is the same. So they ideally are the same thing. Like for example, essentials, we don't have to no index these kind of pages because from a UX user experience point of view, I think this is helpful. Yeah, but if we're gonna leave this as is, right, then we ideally would want to try to map a keyword to it. And then let me just take a quick look at its, yeah, so the description, there's no, like the page titles and description is not, it's not updated. So it's kind of a waste. Yeah, but there's all uncategorized. This is also very common. Hopefully this page doesn't have it. Yep. So this page doesn't have it. Pancakes. Okay. And then thank you pages. So I don't think this page has a thank you page. Let's see. Nope. Yep. Because, you know, thank you pages usually it's for like lead generation type pages. Hello world, I don't think this has a hello world. Don't think so. Yep. And author. Yep, so all these are fine. So this gives me a rough idea of where this page is in terms of the crawlability. So again, I just want to go through it one time just to scan through to see if I missed anything. And if it's not a big website, it's okay, but you just want to basically scan through and look at some stuff. So what I'm looking at is the URL to see if it's the type of URL this has. So already I know that this URL is not the best. You can see they have like how to make them, how to make them, how to make them, how to make it, right? So in terms of URL, you want it to be as short, sweet as much as possible. Ideally, should be the target keyword that you're trying to target. So a lot of wasted space here. For example, if you see like, I'm not going to pronounce that. So let's say, for example, homemade croissants. Here's how to make them. It can just simply be homemade croissants. And then this will be a lot more targeted. Yeah. So, and then I'm also looking at the page titles. You can see a lot of them are being truncated. And yeah, their URLs. So yeah, URLs is a little bit too big, too long. And as well as page titles. So this gives me a rough idea of what this page is around. I mean the status of this page overall. So the next thing I want to do, right, is I'm going to put this website through Screaming Frog. Okay, and you know, most likely I'm going to find, I already know somewhat of the stuff that I will find. So I'm going to I'll be looking at missing meta descriptions or page titles that are more than 60 characters or less than that, or missing page titles. So these are the stuff that I know that I'll be finding already. But crawl will make me find even more stuff. So I'm just going to, so since I don't have analytics, I don't have the rest of the stuff, what I'm going to do is I'm only going to integrate okay, one more thing that I like to do actually is I just want to see if this gets redirected. Okay, this gets redirected. Yeah, 301. Good stuff. This should also get redirected. Good stuff. And then yeah, so all these are being redirected, so this is fine. Just wanted to check the version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to integrate hrefs here. All right, so we're going to crawl this page and we're going to see what other stuff. Also, while it's crawling, I'm going to open up I'm going to open up my audit template. So it's not a big site, so it shouldn't take too long. Okay, but while it's running, I'm going to set things up here. What is this? Our cooking ideas. Our cooking ideas. Then here's what we're going to do. So we don't have to set up all this stuff. Don't have to set up all this stuff. We're just waiting for Screaming Frog to finish crawling. Okay, and meanwhile, let me just take a look at the site overall in terms of design. Yep, so the design is not the best. Okay, let me see. Let's take a look. Yeah, so the reason why they have a banner category is because they want this to show under category. Okay. Yeah, and they do have, so their content is pretty updated, which is awesome, but they have uncategorized. Yeah, so they don't want to have this being, I don't think this is being indexed, because if it is, I think we would have already found it. It seems like it's not. Okay. And then if we were to take a look at the indexability, this should be a no index. I mean, why is this not showing? Hello? Yeah, this should be a no indexed. Okay, this is showing as an indexed. Yeah, so this is just not being crawled. So you definitely want to no index this page. Yep. So this is just not being crawled by Google yet, and I think the reason why is because these polls are very new. So Google might not went in and crawl the pages, crawl this specific page yet. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely want to know. So in this case, for example, what we want to do is we want to go back to uncategorized pages. No, but in this case, we want to select it as yes, because it will get crawled sooner or later. So what we're going to do, no index, either no index, okay, which is one thing that I think they should do, and secondly, or it's remove this category, either or. All right, so this is another thing that we have found just by looking through the page. Okay, so I'm gonna go and take a look more. Print recipe. Okay, so this is okay because this is not being indexed, I think. Yeah. So I don't think this is PDFs. Okay, instructions, cooking hints. Yep. Text, okay. Right, so one thing I don't like about themes like this, it's they include this should be a do follow link if they are smart. Yeah, so you can see the credits here. This is a do follow link, so there's no reason for any website, I think, to be linking out to other websites, especially from a footer, because if it's a footer, it's going to be a site-wide link, and essentially you are sending all the links to this website here. So if this is my own site, what I will do is, if I want to credit back, this should be a no follow, or this should be just at one single page and not a site-wide footer link. All right, but I'm just looking at technical stuff here. So it's done running. So I'm gonna just take a look and see how many things that this website has. So around 400 plus. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to export this whole shit out. Okay, close this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to import everything here. File, maybe import, upload. Append, oops, append. All right, so the rest of the stuff I do not need. So again, you know, with templates, it's always changing. I'm always changing the templates. So all these are not required. So let's just go and delete all this. Yep, so let's just go and delete all this. And now, let's just paste in all the stuff that is required. So I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do content type. Then I'm gonna do status code. Indexability, title and length. Description and length. Header once. Word count. No, wait. Canonical Link first. Oops. Word count. Crawl that. You need inlinks and outlinks. Oops. Okay, and then let's see. What else? Hrefs links, referring domains. And that's all. Yeah, so I do not have the rest of these data here. Okay, and then this is what we need. I'm going to delete this column because it's not needed. All right, so let's see. So do I have everything here? Okay, so if I have them, I don't need this page anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy all of this. And then strip the sheet out of all the formulas, just to make things load a little bit faster. Okay, and then there's already some stuff that I noticed that I've predicted. So that is good. So I'm just going to, so again, for data profile, because I'm not using any data profile specifically, because I don't have access to the analytics and search console, so I'm just gonna ignore this. But usually what I'll put is I'll put the date, the type of traffic, and then the location of the specific data that I've imported into here, just to know, you know, what are all these data based on. But since I don't have that data, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a look here, and then I will need to create a filter. Okay, and here's what I do. I look at firstly the type of pages first. So usually I only look at HTML because these are the pages that are the most important to look at. But I just take a look at all those that is not required first, just to see if there's any weird things going on here. So there isn't. Okay, so wait. I'm going to make things make the sheet a little bit faster. So all right, so I'm going to do this. So that it's not loading additional stuff. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go back and look at, yeah, so it seems like all these are like WP. Yeah, so all these are not important for me to look at. Yep. All right, so all these I don't have to look at, and there's no actions required for this. Is there? Nope. Nope. Nope, there isn't. So I'm just going to look at the HTML. Okay, so total there are, let's see, oops, there are around 200 plus URLs that it's within this page. So this gives me a rough size of the pages. And then if I were to take a look at in terms of which page has the most links, seems like this page has the most links. Okay, but overall the site doesn't get a lot of links. So again, this is just me understanding where the pages are and things like that. And then next up, what I want to do is I want to categorize each of the page so that I can make bulk decisions. So one thing I like to do, it's just to sort out everything. Actually, no. I just want to see if there's any technical issues here. So let's go in and take a look at the status code. And I want to see 404 pages. There is one 404 page, which is, okay. This is probably an internal link. Internal linking to this specific anchor menu or a header that they make. So if I were to go and search for this, right, it's going to bring me to a header, I think. The header should be salad dressing. Okay, so this is a 404 page. So that means I think somewhere on this page, there is a link linking to this page, and that's why it's showing up as a 404. And one good way to check is just to see here in links. So you can see, if I were to open this page up, okay, just small minor things like this. And obviously, if this is a big site, then if this is a huge site, right, and this is only one URL that's doing this, then I wouldn't prioritize fixing this. But if this is not such a big site and there's only one URL and doesn't take very long to fix this, then I would go in and fix this. Now, question is, where is this link? So what we're going to do is we're going to go inspect, and we can close this. Let's go and check out. Canonical Link. Okay, this is weird. All right, so this is a great find actually. So you can see the Canonical Link is linking to this 404 page. Okay, not sure why this is set this way, but essentially, this page will not will probably not rank for anything. Because the canonical tag is just set incorrectly. Right, so this is a very interesting one. So what we're going to do is we're going to fix the broken link. Yeah, and so I'm going to insert a note here. Change canonical link to change incorrect canonical link on yeah. So I don't think so. The only link that it's wrong, right? It's the canonical link, because they don't actually have a hyperlink that is linking to that specific URL. It's only the canonical link. Yeah. Yep. So they just have to fix that. Okay, so that's one thing that is found. Now, obviously, because this is only one, if we find many more 404s, right, then that's going to be a big issue, and we will prioritize that first. Okay, so now the rest of the pages are kind of 200, which is live. So next, I want to look at indexability and just see what pages are not indexable. Okay, so tag pages are not indexable, which is fine. Which is fine. Pagination pages not indexable, which is fine. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for abnormality. If there is something that should be indexed but is being tagged as no index. So tag pages, I'm looking at a lot of tag pages. All right, so this is the one page that we found. Right, so this is the one page that we found earlier, that their canonical is canonical to another, is canonical to this wrong one. So what we want to do is we want to fix the broken link. No, actually change canonical. Insert note. Canonical to correct to incorrect canonical tag. Set canonical to self-referencing. All right, so this is done. Okay, and then next up, let's just, so pagination, these are fine. This should be canonical to the, let's just take a look. Because WordPress does this pretty well, but sometimes, you know, things get messed up. So usually pagination should be referencing to the first or the previous page. Self-canonical. Yeah, so if I were to find a pagination, right? Rel equals hello. Rel equals yeah. Well, what is that? What is that I'm looking for? I'm looking for the previous. Yeah. So previous, yeah, so this is fine. So even though the canonical is self-referencing, this works well because they have a rel equal previous and rel equal next. That's how pagination. But if you were to see like a pagination that is page 2 like this, and there is no rel equals this, no, there isn't these two lines here, and this is a self-canonical, then that might be an issue, because then every single individual page might take up some crawl budget. But if it's like that, and all these are, and there isn't these two lines here, but you see a canonical that is being canonical to the main primary page, which is page 1, for example, then I think that's still okay. Yeah, but this should be the best practice. So this is fine. That's why it's being marked as no index, which is fine. Let's take a look at this. So the category should be the same. And this is why it's fun, because what you are doing is essentially you are understanding the anatomy of the entire site to see, you know, which kind of like the veins of the site, which part is being clogged and things like that. So this should be okay as well, because this is marked as no index, but this should be the rel previous. Yeah, so yeah. So I assume they don't have a page 3. Yep, so there isn't a page 3. Okay, so this is set up fine as well, main course. So what I like to do is I don't like to look at every individual page, because usually when it comes to management of the site, right, you are noticing for patterns. So if I see this and I've checked that this is right, chances are all the rest will be correct, just based off on how they are set up, you know. So next up, it's the author page. Let's take a look at the author page. Okay, so this is, so they have marked the author page as no index, so I don't have to really pay attention to this. Okay, I don't have to pay any attention to this as well, because all these should be marked as no index. Okay, so I don't have to pay attention to this page because of the current status. Now, if I have analytics set up and these pages that are being marked as no index, they show me clicks and they show me impressions, that's where I want to dig in a little bit deeper, because this means that this page at some point in time, depending on what our data profile is, this means that some point in time these pages are getting traffic, and now they are marked as no index. So I want to go in and see what kind of traffic this page is getting, because if there is a certain keyword that we can target, then we might not necessarily want to mark this as no index. Similarly with links. Now, if these kind of pages, I'm seeing here, you can see all these have no links. Now, if they do have links, what I want to do is then I want to open up a small investigation on my part to go in and find out if there is any chances that, you know, that we want to make this as an index page, just because this has a lot of links coming in. Generally what I like to do is for links, for pages that have a lot of links coming in, I don't want to mark them as no index, simply because I want it to, you know, pass the link equity down to all the other pages. That's kind of how I approach it. So that is also based off on this, right? So and that's why you want to look at doing it in bulk. So in all these cases, all these are generally what I call a category page. So these are kind of like product category page. So all these are tag pages. So I'm just going to mark all these as tag pages, except for this one. Okay, all these are category pages. For this one is blog post. Okay, and then because all these are set up properly, we're just gonna leave it as it is, because there's no reason for us to change that. Okay, so that is about that's close to, that is 80% of the site done. Okay, now I want to take a look at indexable pages. Okay, so I assume these are all the pages that are important to the site. So this is interesting, right? They have some category being indexed and some category they didn't index, which is kind of interesting. Now what I want to do, right, it's at this point in time, I just want to categorize everything. And let's see. So this is obviously the home page. So I'm going to mark this as a, this is kind of like a block category because of how they are set up. So about us, this is site information. So I'm going to look for all that I think are site information. I'm going to look for these first. So all your typical contact us page, privacy policy, all these type of pages should be. So I'm noticing some interesting stuff here. Okay, but Okay, so there isn't a lot of site information just based off on the URLs that I see here, but there are some interesting ones that we can go in and see later on. The next thing I want to do is I want to see which ones are blog posts. So this one is definitely a blog post. Apple Crumble. Let me just open it up. Yeah, this should be a blog post. So the reason why I'm opening this up because I'm not sure if this is a blog post or a blog category, right? But it seems like this is a blog post, so I'm gonna mark it as a blog post. Blog post. So all these will be blog post, and then this is obviously a category, which later on I'll look at. This should be a blog category because they don't sell products here. Categories. This should be a post. This should be a post as well. Let me just double check. Because chances usually, if the URL is short, sometimes they are more likely to be blog categories than blog post. But this is, in this case, blog post. So here's how. Yep. Okay, so this is the interesting one. So I'm gonna open this up. Why is this being shown here? I have no idea. So this image is being IMG. Okay, so this is one new way that I found. Let's see. So what we're gonna do, so we're just gonna see IMG. So their images are not being, why is it? So for some weird reason, these are being crawled. Let me take a look. Oops. What the hell? So these are the two pages. Let me take a look at it's kind of, this is weird. Yeah, so these type of pages are being created for I don't know what reason. Yeah, it seems like this is a page on its own, whereas it should be like that. It should be a WP content. So just for this specific page, this page is creating two new pages. I think it's just linking. Yeah, I think it's just how it's being served. It should be like that, not as different pages, because this means to say, you know, Google will be looking at this as a sort of a thin content page. Yeah, this is a page on its own. So this is not good. So yeah, you need to remove these two pages. So what we're going to do is, this is not a, this is, I'm going to say site. No. This is a blog post. And then this is a site info, which they have to remove because these are images. So that generally this should be removed. Remove. Okay, these two pages should be removed. Okay, and then let's go on. All these yeah, all these are definitely blog post. What is this? This should be a, this looks like an author page. Oh no, this is a recipe. Alright. I thought this was somebody's name. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to assume all of these are blog posts. And I think these are blog posts too. I think so. Yep. Tabule. Yep, so these are all blog posts. All right. Okay. So now that I've categorized some of the stuff, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort everything out by site info and think of what to do. So for this part, you don't have to really do anything, because usually site info is pretty much your standard pages, like your contact us, your privacy policy. So these kind of pages, I will just leave it as it is, unless, again, there's specific things that I need to do. Yep, so the titles and all that, if I were to optimize, or I would recommend optimization, right, this is the last page I will worry about. So I won't even go into optimizing its current page titles and meta description and stuff, because this page is not going to generate a lot of traction in links. This is fine because it's an about page, unless it's a big brand. If it's a big brand and the brand is already getting a lot of search traffic for its branded search term, then I will go in and change the page titles and meta descriptions, because this will mean a better experience or a better brand image when somebody is searching for a brand and they see your about page, and the about page is not just about us cooking ideas, it's, you know, about cooking ideas, the best cooking ideas on the web or something like that, and then the meta description as well. But for this case, I think really much to worry about. So let's move on to the next part. So I'm going to look at blog category next. So this is obviously what we're going to do is we're going to update on page, which we will move on this entire phase. So this entire phase is basically to understand the whole SEO health for this entire site, and also determine what kind of technical issues this website is facing. Because I always like to solve technical issues first, no matter how big or small they are, just to see the status of the site. And then once that is done, we'll push everything on to the next phase, assuming all the recommendations for technical fixes are being done already. We'll move on to the next phase, which is optimizing those pages that are set up for that have a that have a opportunity for growth. So which we will need to then go in and see what pages we will need to update its page titles, meta descriptions, or even do keyword research to see what kind of keywords we will be mapping to every individual page, and then kind of do content benchmarking or content audit on the current page. So that is technically the next phase that we do. So the home page is definitely one of the page that we have to update on page, simply because it's, you know, the home page is one of the most important pages. So irregardless of whether this page is going to be ranking for stuff, we will want to update this on page because it's the most important page. Okay, and then the next thing is, now let's take a look at this type of page. So so baking, so they are indexing this page, but they are not indexing some of the other pages. So this is definitely no index. We definitely want to no index this page. No index or remove this page actually. But now I'm curious, because there are some pages that they have indexed, some pages that they didn't index. Okay, and we're gonna see a category. Okay, so those pages that are not indexed are page nation, which is fine. All right, let's go back to the blog category. Yep, so these pages are fine, to be honest. These pages are fine. So depending on, yeah, so this one definitely needs to be a no index. Okay, so sometimes it's easy to bulk everything and just based off on understanding how the site is structured, sometimes it's easy to make bulk decisions like, for example, all these should be no index. Okay, sometimes it's all of them should be indexed, or all of them should be pushed onto the next stage, which is updating its page titles and stuff like that. But for this one, just based off on how it's set up, I know that there are some categories which are not, that won't have any keywords. For example, this one and the banner, because this is how they structure their content, right? Because I know that banner is not a, they are just categorizing these recipes under banners because they want it to appear on their banner. So I know that these kind of pages is not going to get any, like you can see, those that are categorized as banner will appear on the banner. Okay, so I know banner is not going to get any keywords. So, but I know desserts will probably get keyword. So I'm going to update on page for this one. Main course, probably there is. So I'm going to push it. Our essentials may not be. So I'm not going to index this. Starters, maybe. And then vegan recipes, definitely. Right, and baking is definitely. So that's why there's a mixture of both. Some index, some no index, just based off on understanding how the current site structure is set up. Okay, why is this this color? This is not needed. All right, so this is for the blog category. Now, if we go and take a look, so one more thing I want to take a look, it's, yeah, so these blog categories doesn't get any traffic. Now, if, for example, if this is marked no index, okay, but this page gets linked, then there might be something else that I want to deal with it. But just based off of the current status quo, I will mark it as no index. I can actually leave it as it is, to be honest. It's not that important, but yeah, I like to make sure that important pages are being indexed and not important pages are not being indexed. So now that is done, we'll move on to blog posts. So I would assume that these are the pages that is most important to the site. Okay, because for a content site like this, or a recipe site like this, the blog posts are the most important. So let's go and take a look at. So I already know the URL structure is not the best. Okay, I already know that. Let's see if some of these posts get links. So this post gets links. Okay, so for all this, it's actually pretty simple. What we're going to do is we're going to push this entire thing to update on page. Okay, and the reason why is because there is not much technicality that we can do, because all of these are fine. So one more thing that I like to check actually, it's just to see if this gets redirected. This should get redirected, yeah. So it's getting redirected, which is what we want to see. All right, so the next phase for all this, right, is basically to push all this to update on page. Because what we need to do next is we'll need to find out which page we want to, okay, there's a lot more here. So we'll need to find out which page we would want to target first in terms of selecting a keyword. And then secondly, we want to see whether are all these pages necessary. Because if, let's say, for example, I can already notice some recipes that are talking about the same stuff. I'm not sure if I can find this here, but okay. Like, let's see. So brownies, yeah, I cannot find, oh, what is this? Our special meat sauce, yeah. Our secret syrup, yeah. Yeah, so what I want to do, right, it's the next phase is basically to find out if each of these URL is needed, and if it's required, then we will need to do, if it's required, we need to say there will be a keyword that we have selected for this specific page, which will involve keyword research, obviously. And then if there is no keyword that, so basically, after we do keyword research, we'll know whether this specific page has a keyword that we can map it to. So if it has a keyword that we can map it to, we will then go ahead with on-page optimization, which means crafting the page titles, the descriptions, as well as doing a content benchmark. Okay, to see whether it's the content, how to say, whether it's the content what Google is looking at. So that is if we manage to find a keyword that we can map it to. If we can't find a keyword that we can map it to, we can either firstly still continue with on page, but we don't have to pay too much attention to it if it's something that it's valuable. So in this case, for example, if we can't find a keyword for this, which I'm pretty sure we can, because it's tuna club sandwich is a very highly popular keyword. What we will do is we will then decide if we want to continue with the on-page optimization. And this basically on-page optimization, we won't focus too much time on it, meaning to say, unlike those pages that have keywords that we can map it to, for keywords that we can map it to, we have spent a lot of time crafting page titles and description. And the reason why is because there's a lot of factors going into the page titles and description. Things like factoring click-through rate, things like a little bit of copy. So it will take a little bit of time. For pages that are not mapped with keywords, if we decide to continue with its on page, we will then create very simple page titles, like for example, tuna club sandwich recipe, for example, and that could be the page title because we know that there's no keyword that's being mapped to it. Okay, and one of the reasons why I say even though there is if a keyword doesn't have a page, if a page doesn't have a keyword that we can select it to, we still might be able to we still might want to update its on page. And the reason why is because certain stuff brings out the brand. So one example that I can say is, for example, this one, the secret syrup, right? So obviously this is probably not going to be a keyword rich page because, you know, I don't think people will be searching for a secret syrup recipe. So this is valuable in terms of their own brand, right? This is brand specific. This is what they offer. And that's why it's good to optimize this page just to bring out a little bit more brand. So instead of like our syrup for sweet, yeah, so this is fine actually. But, you know, this can definitely be better because optimization is more, it's always about making it better. Yeah, and then for those pages that doesn't have any keyword research, doesn't have any keyword that we can map it to, and already has a keyword that we have already mapped it to another page, we'll then decide what to do with it. Either we can merge the content, either we can no index the content, and we can basically deal with, decide what we want to do with it. We can remove the content entirely. And yeah, so that is basically how we're going to do this entire phase for the next phase. Which I'll be going through it as well. I also just want to take a look at the page crawl depth. So this, for some reason, it's being very, very deep in the page. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, and from what I can tell, you can really see that the current page title is not the best. Yeah, so there is a lot of optimization opportunity here. Most of them are within the character count, which is good, but it's not, the page titles are just a basic, it's a very fundamental way of setting up the page titles. Let's take a look at the descriptions. The description is actually not too bad. We got you through this recipe towards it. Yeah, the description is actually not too bad. Yeah, the description is actually not too bad. So again, this gives me a rough idea of what needs to be done during the next phase, whether it's going to take a lot of work or not. Yeah. Yeah, so basically this is all for the for a page, and it took about, how long did it take? Took about an hour. Okay, so now that we have gotten this, the next phase, what we'll be doing is we'll be doing the on-page status. So if you like what you see, if you would like to ask questions or you'd like to see this live, remember to subscribe. And I hope you find something valuable in this video. And yeah, if you want a free audit, you can request it at my email, jaden@trev.com. And that's all. Take care, stay safe, and I hope you enjoy the video today.